Hello, good morning everybody. So we are on the 26th of August 2019. This is 4 days to the end of the month, and I want to look at my charts from the 4 hours first, then I'll move to 1 hour, then I'll move to 30 minutes, and if time allows us, then I'll move even lower. So the first thing which I have to say here is that there was a big move on Friday. There's this very big move which happened on Friday. If you can see properly, that there was one candle which actually opened lower. There was a candle which opened here, and it went as high as this level here. So if you compare this candle to the others, this candle actually has covered everything. This was a very good range where we were at. Then we broke below as if to continue downwards, and then we suddenly broke above everything. This, in my opinion, is now a good buy. This is, in my opinion, this remains a very good buy, but then you need to wait for price to get back to this level here. So I'm technically just waiting for a buy in case price gets to this zone. If price can pull back up to this level, if price can come back up to somewhere in between this zone, then that will be a good place to look for a buy from. So as it is, you can see even from the MACD point, we've actually been moving upwards. The columns of MACD have started appearing above 00, which means we are somehow still moving upwards. So if you look at this chart, despite the fact that price gapped up and is currently heading downwards, you need to wait for price to retrace back perfectly up to this point here. Wait for price to retrace back, then you pick a buy from that point to the low upper side. This is what we're waiting for. We want price to come back down up to somewhere around this level here, then we'll be able to pick a buy from that point up to the top, up to around 1.11785. That's simply what we're waiting for. Price to retrace back, then we pick a buy up to this level. So we know very well this is a buy, but whatever is happening now could be induction. So I don't want to explain what induction is now, but just know it's something called induction. We first move, it's like a retracement. We want that retracement to come back down up to this point. Then we'll pick a buy from somewhere in between that zone up to the resistance, which is here. On the 1 hour, we have the same thing. We have the same level, which is still very significant. A resistance, a resistance, a resistance, a resistance. There was a break, so price needs to come back up to that level so that it can bite to the top. We'll move forward to our next chart, and that should be GBP USD. So the same thing happened here. We also have the same move. There was a very big move upwards last week. These are the levels to look for. We also have this, and then we have this on top. If price can pull back perfectly up to these levels, then these are the places to look for a trade from. So technically, as long as you have price rallying around this zone here, 1.22598, we are looking for buy positions. So let price continue doing whatever it's doing, but we'll bite from that point to the top. So if you bite there, have your stop loss below the candle which triggered the break, which is this candle here. Have your stop loss below it, around there. And if you don't bite, assuming you bite, then the price basically just comes down and hits this level, then you're still going to bite the second time there with a stop loss below the candle which triggered this break, and that candle is this long big candle. So we'll move forward, move to our next chart, and that is USD JPY. This is how USD JPY looks. The first thing I want to mention is that there was a bearish gap. We had price opening below, and then currently it's retracing back to the upper side. So this is still a good sell. We still have a sell on this one, but then you need to wait for a clear sign. Despite the fact that there was a gap to the last price actually opened here, went as low as this point, but it's currently rallying around this point. So this is a good sell. If you are trading this pair at the moment, you need to wait for a very good sell. Basically, if you are trading any Japanese yen pair, you need to look for a sell, especially if that pair is, if Japanese yen is in the quote currency. Daily, the same thing. We are still bearish, but there are levels here which hello everybody, sorry for that. Sorry, my internet was down slightly, but at least it's now up. So what I was saying on this one, somebody's asking that I should talk about gold. So I'm going to look at gold immediately after this pair. I'm going to look at gold, but first of all, let me explain this one. This should be a sell where the price is now. We actually are waiting for sell signals following the gap which you saw earlier today. This is now a sell, but then you need to wait for that signal. If it doesn't sell off from where the price is now, then we are going to wait and sell it when the price gets somewhere in between this range here, the zone which I've drawn. If price doesn't sell off from here, it actually should sell off from the upper one. These are the two places, here or the upper one. So if you're looking at USDJPY, please be sure to look for sell positions. Keep looking for sell orders, and if you don't find the sell order just in the near future, maybe in the course of today, maybe in the course of tomorrow, then wait for a sell around the upper zone which I've drawn, top one. So we move forward, move to the next symbol, which today I'm going to start with gold based on the request. Gold should be here. It's gold. And the first thing I want to say about gold is that we are very bullish. The overall trend is here, is upwards. If I was to attach a trend indicator, which is this, you can see that we are massively to the upper side. The price kept moving upwards as it is now. are the places that we want to trade from. So anytime price comes back to somewhere in between the range which I've just drawn, we are supposed to look for buy positions. So the best is to wait for price to get back to that level, then you buy from that point at the lowest possible risk. I don't recommend a sell anymore. This one, not now, I don't recommend any sell. So I've said that already, that's a buy. Move forward to our next chart. That should be SP500. So far SP500 is bullish. On the weekly chart we have a very good bullish trend. It's a bullish move. Weekly, monthly the same thing, we have this big move. Weekly the same thing. Daily we are somehow heading to the lower side. So if you check this properly on the daily, you actually have a zone. This is the price is somehow consolidating in between some range. This one here, this is a very good range. It has a top, it has a bottom, this one. And notice something, that anytime the price approaches the lower, it actually gaps lower, crosses up, and then continues up. It comes down like that, then came back, gapped down, went slightly downwards, and then came back and closed here, and then proceeded up. So the same thing we expect to happen today. Like on Monday, which is today, there was a gap lower, then it went down, but ended up closing above. This is a good sign that we could possibly be heading up to this level. This could be a very good sign that we are heading up to this level. So this week and possibly in the coming weeks, we still expect price to proceed upwards, but it should remain within this range. We expect price to remain within this. The same thing as you can see from the past. This is the beginning of this month. This should be the end of this month. There was this big move downwards, gapped here, moved down, closed above, and the next thing it went up to the resistance, consolidated, came back to the same point, gapped down, went slightly lower, closed here, then after that it actually went up. Same thing, gapped down, lower, and we expect it to close above by the end of the day. So if this is true, that by the end of today we actually have price here, then expect it to proceed up to this resistance, which is 2938.5. Expect price to proceed upwards up to the resistance which I've mentioned. So I don't recommend any sell on this one at the moment. Even if you see a sell, the correct place to sell from should be when price goes below this level. If price can break below 2816.1, then that will be the place to look for a sell from. Only if price goes below this level that you should look for a sell. As it is at the moment, this is still a buy up to the up one. So we move forward to the last symbol, which is Brent oil. And this is how Brent oil looks. Brent oil should be a sell. The main reason I'm saying this is a sell is because the level which is this resistance zone here, continued up, it came back, gapped below, it came back as a resistance, continued down, came back as a resistance, and as we're speaking, we are somehow still within this zone. So this is still a sell, a very good sell. If checking this chart, please be sure to look for a sell in between this range here. Look for a sell in between this zone, the one which I've colored. Have your stop loss above, it's there. Then your take profit needs to be here. So we'll sell from 59.994, and then we have your stop loss above 61.71. Then we'll have our take profit at 52.842. Those are the places you need to have your level set. Sell here, stop loss, and then your take profit is at 52.842. These are the only levels, this, your stop loss, and then your take. So thank you very much. I hope that makes some sense for today. We should leave it at that point. We'll look again tomorrow to see exactly if the ones we had today have actually gone, or if we need to make any changes. So the one thing which I have to mention here is that if you have a chart where there's a gap and also the previous week candle was actually a bearish pin bar or a pin bar, give that chart a priority. So we are only focusing on charts where there are clear direction. If we expect a big move on one chart, we focus mostly on that chart. We ignore the rest. We only trade on charts that has clear direction. If you find a chart today which is very clear in any particular direction, whether it's a buy or a sell, trade that one. And if you find where there's a clear area of consolidation, you also can trade it, but you buy and sell depending on where they bounce, as long as it remains maybe within the range which you've just drawn. So thank you. See you again tomorrow at the same time. Bye.